Before the Tournament of Power, Super Saiyan Blue was thought to be the top transformation if you don't want to argue Super Saiyan 4. After being pushed to heights thought to be reachable by only the gods, Goku achieves power great enough to shake infinity. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 110, after being drained of all of his energy and blacking out during his fight with Jiren, Goku collapses into his own Spirit Bomb technique. The collective trauma from this, and the need to be stronger in order to protect his universe, Goku first unlocks the Ultra Instinct. Ultra Instinct is actually based off of martial arts in the practice of Mushin no Shin, which translates to the mind without mind, or the state of no mindness. Mushin is actually a mental state that is said to be achievable by Zen and Taoist meditators. It is said that to obtain this state, a person's mind must be free from thoughts of anger, fear, or ego during combat or everyday life. There's an absence of discursive thought and judgment, so the person is totally free to act and react towards an opponent without hesitation and without disturbance of such thoughts. So with that being said, yes, Ultra Instinct is based off of a real life technique, so it is possible to develop certain aspects of this much like Bruce Lee did. Goku actually radiates far too much heat in this form. The sparkling aura around the user of Ultra Instinct is actually heat that is generated from the form. This is also accompanied by an intense growth rate as Goku's strength evolved further and further the more he fought while in this form. Almost like an automatic Zenkai boost, as it was stated that every time Goku blocked Jiren's attacks, he hits him more sharply and heavily than he did before. His ki was also described to be not only hot, but also frighteningly quiet as well, unlike the other forms that we've seen like Super Saiyan 2 and 3, which are accompanied by lightning. At the same time, however, the form is not a Saiyan state as we all know. As we all saw from the first time Goku achieved the Ultra Instinct transformation, anytime he does any type of grunt, yell, or scream while in this form, his voice experiences a dual voice effect. Now, this isn't necessarily the first time that this has happened to him, as it also happened the first time he transformed into a Super Saiyan in the original Japanese dub against Frieza. This was also the case in the Japanese dub of Dragon Ball Z Movie 7 as well, after Goku absorbed the Spirit Bomb against Super Android 13. The second voice bears a resemblance to the voice granted by the Grade 8 form, but I don't think there's any connection whatsoever between the two. The first known user of this ability is actually Whis, who later teaches it to Beerus, even though he hasn't mastered it yet. Whis often uses this ability while training Goku and Vegeta. In the manga, however, Beerus uses Ultra Instinct against the other gods of destruction, and this allowed him to fight multiple gods simultaneously. With that being said, we're led to assume that it may just be mortals that suffer the extreme backlash from using Ultra Instinct, as Beerus was nowhere near as fatigued as Goku, even though Beerus' Ultra Instinct was incomplete as well. So far, these three are the only users we have seen to possess Ultra Instinct, even though it is implied that Vados does possess it as well, as Vegeta states that she must be just as skilled as Whis. Though wielded as a transformation by Goku, Ultra Instinct is actually a technique. The Ultra Instinct Sign form, which is the black-haired form Goku used against Kefla and Jiren, is the imperfect or unmastered form. In this form, Goku is only able to use the defensive aspect of Ultra Instinct, and in his fight with Kefla, up until we saw arguably the greatest Kamehameha of all time, Goku couldn't attack while he was in this form, and if he did, he would have to acknowledge his thoughts, which would take away from his overall power. Now, alternatively, the peerless form of Ultra Instinct, or the Mastered Ultra Instinct, which is what we know of as Goku's white-haired form, this allows the user to dodge and counterattack without any hindrance whatsoever. And while initially Goku didn't really know what he was doing during his first awakening of this form, during his second awakening of the incomplete form, he actually gained a little bit control over this power, even enough to the point where he eliminated the dual voice, and he was even able to charge his power while in this form. While this is a great power, it doesn't come without risk, and Goku is only able to access this form in moments of extreme danger, and because of not having free control over it due to it being forcibly awakened, the form had limited time. In the Mastered Ultra Instinct form, the drawbacks were actually much worse than just depleted stamina though. Unlike the incomplete form, however, when the Mastered Ultra Instinct form ran out for Goku, blood erupted from his body and he experienced immense pain strong enough to pretty much paralyze him momentarily. So for number 7, this is actually where things are going to be a little bit difficult and kind of hard to explain. So while there are many translations to Migate no Gokui, such as Key of Egoism or Secret to Selfishness, these are translations that would be derived from the phrase without the proper context. In the context of Dragon Ball Super, the word Migate must be understood in a more literal way pertaining to selfishness. The term selfishness must be understood in a literal fashion which would represent the body. So without confusing anyone anymore, the correct translation for Migate no Gokui should be the secret of the body moving on its own. And while I could go on for a few more minutes about the transliterations and the translations, I don't want to confuse anybody anymore, but I probably already did because I left a lot of that out. Goku actually didn't gain the power of Ultra Instinct from the Spirit Bomb. Whis states that the Spirit Bomb acted as a temporary source of power for his depleted body, allowing him to still be able to fight. Goku actually attempts to compress the Spirit Bomb in order not to die. In doing so, the Spirit Bomb actually got denser and denser. This led to a giant explosion that left behind condensed energy around a hole in space, as we saw. Not necessarily a black hole though. Whis states that the raging power of the Spirit Bomb enters Goku, and while this is happening, Goku was using nothing but his sheer will to live in order to resist the energy trying to overcome him and eventually kill him. Number 9 is actually pretty interesting and required a little bit of research. So, the Spirit Bomb charging up Goku actually makes sense. The Spirit Bomb, or Genki Dama, is translated to Health Energy Ball. Genki is positive health energy, which is not the same as Ki because Ki is combat energy. In certain circumstances like this, based on the definition of Genki, it is possible for a person to be healed or powered up by the Genki Dama. However, it is also possible for a person without negative energy to be hurt by the Spirit Bomb, as we saw in the Kid Buu Saga and the Tournament of Power. Now, number 10 isn't exactly pertaining to Ultra Instinct, but more of the Spirit Bomb and what happened in that instant. Goku has actually done this before. In the Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods movie, Beerus sends a sphere of destruction straight towards Goku, and once again, thinking of his friends and family and with his sheer will to live, Goku erupts into the Super Saiyan God form and actually absorbs the attack from Beerus. So this is pretty much what they base their premise of Goku getting his Ultra Instinct off of, but rather than resisting the attack from Beerus, he accepts it and absorbs it. Now, I would say the situation wasn't exactly the same scale as the Tournament of Power because Goku wasn't as depleted of his energy as he was against Jiren. Now, while he lost his Super Saiyan form when trying to block the attack from Beerus, Goku was depleted of energy to the point where he could not even sustain himself against Jiren. He was actually supposed to die here. Alright guys, that is gonna do it for 10 facts about Ultra Instinct. I hope you all learned something. If you did, let me know down in the comment section below. If you already knew these facts, then we just had a good time for the 8 minutes that we've been sitting here, right? But anyway guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.